Alright everyone, welcome back again to some more Umineko. You know, there was always shocking elements to this game that always caught me off guard, and this part being no different, if only because a particular scene happens that just takes the cake and just completely, as usual per this game's MO, subvert my expectations. So, without spoiling it for you guys, let you all see it for yourselves, and if anything, thank you all for the love and support. Hope you all continue to enjoy, and I'll let you see what's going to happen in this video. Alright everyone, and we are back.
さあの楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ。舌を噛むなら今のうちだ。
哀れね。もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映って、それが見えるなら、己が醜さに、おののくといい。
Shannon's gotten a lot more confident as the episodes went on. I'm loving this version of Shannon right now.
安心しろよ。てめえはそれより、さらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら、醜く潰してやるからよ。
Honestly, I hope Battler's watching this so that he can learn a little bit of what's ticking off Beatrice right now and use it against her in the future. At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Maybe that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then Genji softly held Shannon from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand.
Genji様?
もう十分だ。先に休みなさい。
はい。ありがとうございます。Genji様。
After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand against the area around her collarbone. As he did, from that area where that left hand pressed, a crimson stain gently spread out. When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. For just that very first instant, it appeared to be shaped like a crimson rose. And when he removed the right hand that covered Shannon's eyes, there was a peaceful expression on her face as though she was sleeping. And she fell softly, silently down, and slept. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could never reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. Beatrice and the Seven Sisters were shocked by this scene. Only Ronov had a mysterious expression along with his smile. Then Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。お前ももう休むといい。
はい。ありがとうございます。ケンジ様。
Just as he had done with Shannon, after gently covering Kanon's eyes with his hand, Genji gently covered the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when that was removed with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose shape. But that rose shape quickly turned into the stain of bright red blood pouring out.
何よそれ
つまらぬやつ。生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
見事です、源氏。それでこそ、家具です。
ありがとうございます。それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノウェ様、これをもって私の最後のお務めとし、おいとまをさせていただきます。
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって。この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Ronov spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。あなたは私の最高のしもべです。これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りを、あなたへの最後の褒美として取らせましょう。
おい、勝手な真似を。
when Ronov snapped his fingers, as if Genji was a puppet that had crumpled from its strings being cut. Suddenly, and yet gently, he fell sprawled on the floor into a sleep that witches couldn't call him back from. That was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Kanon.
Nanda yo, Ronoue. 拍子抜けでつまらぬぞ。
お嬢様は偉大なる大魔女ではございませんか。この程度、気に留めるほどにもございませんよ。シャノンごときの挑発で、頭に血を上らせるなど、らしくもない。
What was there that Beatrice didn't like? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Ronov laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of the human and the female heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. The seven sisters cavorted as they disappeared. Genji was a real trooper, though. Goda was doing the nighttime rounds. There had never been anything on Rokenjima outside the Ushinomiya family. So checking that the doors and the windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since Natsuki had scolded them saying that this was careless, the nighttime rounds had become a part of the servants' daily routine. The reason that Natsuki had ordered this was the occasional disturbances of the witch. Everyone who visited this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest. This had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. For that, it was only natural that some people would occasionally say that when they thought they were alone in the mansion, they heard strange sounds or seen the shadow of a person. However, when they had created a little too big of a disturbance and reached Natsuki's ears, she had made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been coming in and out. Apparently, it was said that she had roused all of the servants and had them check throughout the mansion. Because all of this uproar over a witch had happened before Goda had come. He had only heard about it from the more senior servants. Ghost stories like that could be found in any workplace. Even at the hotel Goda had once worked at and at the restaurant, there was never a shortage of those types of stories. So when he had heard the story on this island, he smiled bitterly, thinking, "Ah, so they have that kind of thing here after all." He smiled bitterly, but he thought that, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and had not slighted that. Goda went along with it on the outside, but in his heart he thought it was a childish trick. At first.
これは確かに不気味ですね。なるほど。過去の使用人たちがいろいろと騒ぎたくなる気持ちもわかるものです。
He could understand that if someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window which hadn't been closed, they might be tempted to believe they had seen a ghost.
肖像画の魔女をバカにするとたたりがあるか。大怪我をして辞めた使用人もいるらしいし、怪我は勘弁だな。俺もこの年だ。二度とこんな厚遇の職場には恵まれねえだろうよ。ああ、肖像画の魔女様、真面目に働きますんで、一つ穏便に頼みます。
Goda prayed to the portrait, his hands together as though he was at a Shinto shrine. At that time, he thought he heard a sound. The kitchen? What was that sound of something metal falling on the floor? Surely a mouse or a cockroach had come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No, how could that be? It was routinely and thoroughly cleaned. Goda thought that in any case he had better check what that noise had been and entered the kitchen. He turned on the kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. To a cook like Goda, that sound seemed like the lid on the pressure cooker or something were shaking. Of course, it couldn't be in use when no one was in the kitchen. If someone had been using the gas, what a dangerous thing to do to just walk away from it. Just in case, Goda decided to inspect the area around the gas range. When he did, in the corner by the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been placed there, just as he had thought. But the flame wasn't on. And yet, the lid was clanking. Was something fermenting and leaking gas? How could that be? Then, was there a mouse or something inside? How could there be? Ridiculous. In front of people, Goda acted as though he had a bold personality fitting for his build. But he actually had an unexpectedly timid side to him. He was terrified to find out what might be inside, and he couldn't check it carelessly. In his cowardice, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle. And with a clunk, he tapped it a little strongly against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He should have been relieved now that it had stopped. But the fact that it did stop when he had hit it was even more eerie and made him even more suspicious about what was inside.
この世に怪奇現象なんて存在しませんとも。そんな魔女も魔法もそんなもの存在するわけがない。すべての現象は科学的に説明できるんです。お化けも魔女もいてたまるもんですか。
You should be in the same area as Battler then. Disproving the witch's existence. He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. It was quite comical how he looked completely different from what he was saying.
何が魔女だ。何が魔法だ。たたりだ。そら、正体を見せてみろ。そら。
He removed the lid of the pressure cooker, and lying exposed there was the sparkling clean silver bottom of the pot. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he had imagined. So why was it clacking inside?
そりゃ当然です。中に何もいるわけがない。
By now, Goda realized that he had been a coward. So while he still had some doubts about what had caused the lid to make that sound, he explained it away abstractly as some quirk of positioning or something and decided not to worry about it too much. Then he took the lid he had grabbed and softly set it back down where it had been. It's alright. There won't be a sound. Obviously. As if witches or magic could exist. Clank. Clank, 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 clank. Uh-oh. All of the pots and utensils in the kitchen started clanking at once. And it grew stronger still until finally it became so strong that the lid to one of the pots fell off. And, from inside the pot, a slender white arm slowly stretched out. Ooh. The lid fell off another pot and another hand slowly stretched out. And another. And another.
魔女なんかいるもんか
What do you say to that after you tell yourself things like this don't exist? And a hand pops out of a pot. Like, holy cow.
信じるもんか
Yeah, you should be with Meta Battler right now. When the number of arms grew to 7, a loud shrill laughter split the air.
がっかり。これほどの美味しいお料理を作れる人がこんな小物なんて本当にがっかり。あんたいらないんなら私がもらうわ。いっただき。ちょっとダメだってば。
Oh, these sisters are gonna kill him again?
私がもらうんだから。
Come on, let's search. There's only one more. That old hag. Where is she? Not the mansion. Maybe the guest house? You snooze, you lose, right? You snooze, you lose, right? Come on, search, search. Find her, find her. Don't get noticed by the relatives in the dining hall. Don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house. Search in silence, kill in silence. After all, it's still just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house, but she wasn't in the mansion either. Hey, I found her! She's in the rose garden! Why is she standing around here without an umbrella? She's giving herself up. All mine, all mine, all mine! You slowpokes can just sit there and watch. I told you no! This one's mine! Come on, if we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beatrice-sama. Let's take care of it all at once. Come on, found her. Surround her. Come on, let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die! Wait, did Kumasawa just activate a barrier? What?
何よこれ
Holy cow, we just learned something new, people.
やんちゃなお嬢さんたちだこと。あの子のお友達かしら。
何こいつババアのくせに何かの間違いよもう一度
Wow.
こいつ、どうして私たちを防げるの？
どいてもう一度よ何度やっても無駄だ。この誤人、できる。
私はあの子を待っているのです。どうか呼んできてはくれませんか？
そのようなデッチ暴行、私たちがすると思う？その必要はない。ベアトリーチェ様！
私が権限するほどでございます。必ずやお目覚めと思いました。
ロノウェイ、久しぶりですね。本当に久しぶりです。
こいつ、ロノウェ様を呼びつけに？
そして、あなたもお久しぶりですね。ベアトリーチェ。
こいつ、ベアトリーチェ様までも呼びつけに。よい。そのお方をどなたと心得るか。ベアトリーチェとは、そもそもそのお方の名。
Oh, you know, I knew it. The moment like she started using that barrier, and I'm like, wait a second. Like I noticed the color of her hair, and I'm like, is this the first witch, but she just got older? That was my thought as I saw this happening, and I'm like thinking to myself, don't tell me that this is the one that the current Beatrice apprenticed off of. And it turns out it's true. Like, oh, okay. And to think I was suspecting her in the beginning of this game that she could have been one of the major suspects, because she was like, I don't know, she was a little coy at times. But it turns out she was the witch from the beginning of this third episode.
わらわはそれを受け継いだに過ぎぬ。そのお方こそは、わらわの師匠。先代ベアトリーチェ教だ。
先代ベアトリーチェ教？
Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. And after becoming a golden radiance and enveloping her, they burst and disappeared, and Kumasawa's form was no longer there. There she is. Instead, there was another golden witch, the one who had, in the past, explained to Beatrice the path of an endless witch. The only person Beatrice had called master in her entire life. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful, and her figure in that elegant dress was unrecognizable as an old lady. No, this looked like a completely different person than Kumasawa.
これはお師匠様。再びお会いできる日が訪れるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
ええ、私もですよ。よもやまた眠りを妨げられるとは夢にも思いませんでした。
まったく厄介なところでお目覚めになられる。いつもの通りお休みであられたなら、第一の晩を何も手こずることなく終えられるのに。いや、むしろ歓迎すべきですかな。
My first thought was that the original witch was still the current Beatrice, it's just that her soul was transferred to a homunculus. It turns out they are two separate people. Obviously, I should have known that from the get-go because in the flashback scene, it was a little Bieto talking to the current one. I don't know Bieto's real name, but the way it was presented, it should have been obvious to me. But I just had like another theory that maybe this could have been her. But turns out that's not the case. They're two separate people entirely.
少々退屈しておりましたところで。
相変わらず悪趣味な遊びで罪もない人々をもてあそんでいるようですね。無限の魔女の力は決して人に迷惑をかけることに使ってはならないと何度も教えたはずですよ。
そう言うなよ、お師匠様。退屈は私たちの天敵じゃありませんか。それから逃れるためのちょっとしたスパイスに過ぎませんよ。侵食が進めば進むほどにわらわの力は強くなり、わらわの眷属は呼び出しやすくなる。しかしそれは同時にお師匠様の封印を解くことにもつながったとはな。
Okay, see, that makes sense too, because I was wondering if she was the original witch, why was she dying in these past previous episodes? Like, did she just let it happen? So it turns out she was dormant inside Kumasawa all this time until just recently.
それを予見していたからこそ、私はこうしてあなたのすぐ近くで眠りについたのですよ。願わくば二度と起こされぬことを夢見ながら。こうしてあなたと再会してしまったのは、私にとってはとても悲しいことです。
相変わらず、お師匠様は食えないな。
炉の上、家具の子たちを下げなさい。家具は主に仕えるだけです。すべての罪は主が背負います。
かしこまりました、マダム・ベアトリーチェ。
その名はもうその子に譲りました。さあ下がりなさい、家具の娘たち。私は一度聞かぬとしても二度言います。しかし三度目は口にしませんよ。
下がりなさい、煉獄の七姉妹。巻き添いになれば塵と化しますよ。
下がれみんな。
Roanoke and the Seven Sisters of Purgatory retreated. After that, there was the Beatrice whose bold expression didn't falter, and the Master Beatrice who had given up that name and wore a composed smile.
さて、お師匠様。久しぶりの再会にはどんなお茶のご用意が良いかな。
そうですね。ほうき星の訪れよりも久しい再会です。もてなしてもらいましょうか。粗相があるようならば、我が名と無限の魔女の称号返してもらいますよ。
無限の魔女にも免許更新制度があったとはな。仰せのままに、お師匠様。 あなたの弟子がどれほど立派になったか、そしてとっくの昔にどれほどあなたを凌駕したか、とくとご覧に入れましょう。
It looked like sparks exploded in the air between the two Beatrices. Just by glaring at each other, they purged all spirits from the space. As they watched, the seven sisters shivered. Because if they had retreated just 3 steps less than they had, they would have already been turned to dust by now.
さあ、いらっしゃい。ベアトリーチェ。あなたにその名を譲ったことが、私の生涯でただ一度の後悔です。その過ちを、今、自らの手で修正しましょう。
そりゃあ違うぜ、お師匠様。わらわのただ一度の過ちは、この程度の力を学ぶのに、あんたに弟子入りしちまったことだぜ。何が魔法だ。何が無限の魔女だ。こんなの気づくだけの力じゃねえかよ。それをもったいぶって偉そうによ。お前の出番はとっくに終わってんだよ、お師匠様よ。
もう、わけがわからね
え。Balor's just like, what on earth is going on?
一体、目の前で何が起こってんだ。
かわいそう。私の弟子が迷惑をかけていますね。
Oh, she's in the meta world too now?
謝ります。
あんた、何者なんだ。熊沢のばあちゃんが、どうしてこんな姉ちゃんに化けるんだ。つうか、あんた誰だよ。わけがわからねえ。これは何の特撮なんだ。俺は頭がどうにかなっちまいそうだ。
私はあの子の魔女の師匠です。かつての名はベアトリーチェ。あの子が私を継ぐときにその名を送ったため、今は名を持ちません。
あんたがすでに言い切っちまってるが、俺はあんたの弟子のせいで大いに迷惑しているぜ。頼むから責任取って何とかしてくれ。じゃなくて、俺はこんなの信じねえぞ。魔女も魔法もあるもんか。こんなめちゃくちゃバトル俺は認めねえぞ。くそったな。俺は何を信じりゃいいんだ。
あなたらしい、とても短気なもてなしですね。
さすがお師匠様。この程度じゃバカバカしくてまぶたを開く気にもならないらしい。島ごとぶっ壊す気でなきゃ無理らしいぜ。さあさあおいでなさい、双剣の戦闘。
In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the Rose Garden. And on either side of her shoulders, 2 massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. And on either side of her shoulders, 2 yep, okay. They stretched 100 merut tall, and each one had over 360 ports. They were war towers of the gods' army corps, which had not allowed the heroes of antiquity to invade their precincts even as they banded together. As Beatrice elegantly floated in the gap between the massive 2-headed towers, she looked down her master, staring with an absolute superiority. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. When we come back, we're going to continue on between the battle of the two Beatrices.